Hey boys and girls, Miss Jones. I'm going to be reading a story to you today called The Crane Girl. It's adapted by Curtis Manley. It's adapted because it's a folktale. In this folktale, there's some haiku. Haiku is a type of poetry. It's a Japanese style of poetry. And in the story, it is in different colors depending on who's speaking. From the darkness, an animal's sudden cry, its fear and mine. Yasuhiro dropped his armload of firewood to follow the sound across the sharp buckwheat stubble of the landlord's field. He almost stepped on the crane, invisible where it lay in the snow. A trap held one foot, but the crane looked unharmed. As Yasuhiro knelt, the bird closed its eyes and shuddered. Yasuhiro clicked his tongue to calm the bird. I'm not here to hurt you. Cold, hard trap. He sets me free with white, warm hands. When the bird stood up, it was as tall as Yasuhiro. He stroked its soft feathers and its long neck with his fingertips, and the bird gently pressed the red top of his head against Yasuhiro's face. The crane's head against my cheek. How warm it was. The crane suddenly turned away, began running, and took flight over the wintry hills. Yasuhiro watched until the bird was a pale speck against the dark sky, and then he picked up the firewood his father had sent him for and went home. That night, someone knocked on the door. Yasuhiro opened it and found a girl standing there, pale and shivering, tears frozen on her cheeks. Please, she said, bowing, I have no home and nothing to eat. May I stay here with you? I will help with chores and I won't be any trouble. Yasuhiro led her to the warmth of the hearth. Father will decide if you can stay. Yasuhiro's father, Ryota, got up and bowed. We are not rich like others in town, but you're welcome to stay here as long as you work hard. If you are lazy or steal from me, you cannot stay. Do you agree? Yes, sir, the girl said. You may call me Hiroko. Yasuhiro and Hiroko became friends. They shared their chores and spent time together. Springtime rain. I teach her games everyone else knows. Each morning, Ryota walked to town looking for work, unloading boats or carrying heavy baskets. He returned in the evening, usually with the fish or noodles. But when he couldn't find work, he came home with only a sadness, crying the name of Yasuhiro's mother. Mother died when I was young, Yasuhiro whispered to Hiroko one of those nights. Father says she wove the finest kimono silk on the whole island. We still have her loom and thread. But Father had to sell all the fabric she made except my scarf. Oh, Yasu, it's beautiful, Hiroko said as she stroked the soft fabric. His mother's love, threads of all colors glowing in the weave. The next day, Hiroko bowed to Ryota. If it would please you, Ryota said, I will weave silk for you. It will bring a good price in the market. I have but one request. Neither you nor Yasuhiro must open the door or look at me when I'm weaving. Do you agree, no matter how long it might take? Yasuhiro and Ryota nodded and said yes. Then I will weave for you. She took a bowl of rice and bean sprouts that Yasuhiro offered and closed the door. My wife's loom, pounding of my own heart behind that door. The loom sounded all night and the next day. Only after dinner did it fall silent. When Hiroko finally opened the door, she was carrying a bolt of cloth as light as a summer breeze. White silk, speckled with black, tracks of winter birds. A merchant bought the silk for as much gold as Ryota could earn in 5 months. Heavy sack of coins. Why should I beg for work? Now Ryota often slept late. By the time he walked to the village, there was no work left. Instead, he sat with merchants in the warm sun, eating and drinking all afternoon, and the gold was gone in just 3 months. So again, Hiroko closed the door to weave, taking with her a bowl of tofu and ginger that Yasuhiro had prepared for her. This time, the girl spent 2 full days with the loom. The fabric was even finer than before. Weightless silk, her trembling hands and tired eyes. A merchant paid so much that Ryota even stopped trying to look for work. He went to town to sit by the docks with the merchants and boast of fine silk he would weave for them. Cup by cup, his father swallows all the money. In a few months, all the gold was spent again. More cloth, demanded Ryota. Hiroko looked down at the floor. I'm still too weak, sir. Next month I will weave more. You will do it now, insisted Ryota, and before Yasuhiro could stop him, Ryota pushed the girl in the room and slid the door shut. Yasuhiro looked at the door and remembered his promise to Hiroko never to open it. Knock of her loom. I put down the chopsticks and stare at my rice. A day passed and then another. The loom's rhythm seemed slower with each passing hour. Ryota paced back and forth. 3 days, how those merchants must laugh at me. Finally, the loom fell quiet. Are you done with the cloth? Ryota asked, and he slid the door open. He cried and fell back on the floor. Yasuhiro rushed toward his father, but stopped and stared. Through the open door, he saw the long, thin neck and feathers flecked with blood, and then a great wing slammed the door shut. You may have predicted that. Ryota ran past Yasuhiro and stumbled outside into the darkness. Even the moon gone, all my good luck lost again. When Hiroko finally came out, her face was pale and her eyes were red from crying. Yasu, here is the silk for your father. Once he sells it, he need not bear any burdens for many months. I'm sorry about father, Yasuhiro said, gazing at the fabric. Hiroko pressed her head against him. The last time I will touch his cheek. Cold tears. Yasuhiro thought of what he had seen through the open door and touched Hiroko's neck. Why did you pluck your own feathers for the cloth? You saved my life when I was caught in the trap, said the girl. You were so gentle and kind, I wanted to be with you. Hiroko's feathers, her love for me, threaded through the silk. Hiroko pulled away from him. But I can stay here no longer. She hurried outside and within 3 steps changed back into a crane and flew away. Everything lost. How could he ever love a crane? Yasuhiro ran and ran, calling after her and sobbing. When she was just a dark speck in the sky, he could run no more. He must have fallen asleep, for suddenly Hiroko was bending over him. Yasu, go home. You'll freeze here in the snow. I won't go back, said Yasuhiro. Take me with you. Hiroko shook her head. Our life is too different. It's a hard life. You wouldn't like it. I will like it because I'll be with you. Then follow me, she began running, and flap your wings hard. But I don't have... But he did. He did have wings. Matching her wing beats, my heart soars. Together they flew low over the hills and along the river to the marshes at the edge of the sea. Her people clacked their beaks in welcome and danced for them. Yasuhiro and Hiroko stayed together all the rest of their long lives, and they raised many crane children, one by one by one. Spring sun, our chick's feathers wet from the egg. How lucky we all are to be cranes. If someone does you a favor, do you feel like it's important to return that favor? Well, in Japan, in their tradition, it is not just nice, it's your obligation. I hope you get the message of this story.